What up, everyone? Yeah, this is out of the blue. Much earlier than I usually do my streams. So I just I felt a bit bored, and yeah, it's I don't know if you guys can hear my voice or something. It's just I'm not doing so well. Yeah, it's just I got sick with a cold, so I decided to take a break from my channel from making videos for about a week or so. But I just wanted to inform everyone of my current situation of this crazy cold. So yeah, um, but that doesn't mean that I won't be posting any videos of my channel. I still will be posting videos on my channel even though I'm sick. You may ask why and how can if I can do that if I had already been if I'm not going to make any stories. Well, I have already a number of stories that already been made, and they will be posted on my channel, even though I'm not gonna do any more videos for a while now, since I'm have this damn cold. So yeah, this stream will only be for short since I don't have enough time left on this free plan of StreamYard. So yeah, I understand that some of my viewers may just simply like, wait, hold on, Sweet Diablo. Are you not going to do any more videos? Actually, no. Well, at least for time being, and it's just this damn cold have really much screwed me up. It really drained my energy. I barely have any appetite for any well, I don't really have much appetite for food or anything. And even this morning, last yesterday when I went to bed, I was freezing as so much. And yeah, so I understand that some of viewers like get well, Switch Diablo, which I really much appreciate. Yeah, so I know that some of my viewers or some of my friends were like, "Whoa, Switch Diablo, are you doing okay?" Well, could be better. Be honest, though, it just you know having its terrible cold. It's not unexpected. It just happened. So yeah, so I decided to just doing a short stream to mention that and talk about something random and just and I don't know. Um, but yeah, even though I'm not going to do any stories for about a week or so, it because I don't have much energy in my itself. And since the best treatment is get a lot of sleep, but to be frankly, I've been told it's not easy. It's not easy as it seems. I woke up early this morning and I tried multiple times to go back to sleep, but I didn't. I managed to fall back asleep around maybe it's 10 or around early noon, and I woke up around 2 p.m. instead afterwards. Despite at least a few hours of sleep, you may think, oh yeah, do you have enough energy? Nope, not at all. So at least that is having this terrible cold. It just really drained your energy. I really barely don't have much energy at all. I mean, I feel so drained. I feel cold, I feel warm, and the next moment and the next I feel freezing. It's just a little typical feelings of having a cold. So most of the day I have been just been sleeping and just watch some YouTube and that's it. But I just hope that my cold will be gone soon. I really terrible hate a cold. And especially now during this time of year with autumn around just here and winter just around the corner. I just wonder, I just may wonder, do I get any more cold the rest of the year? Very likely. Is very, very likely it will happen. So, so yeah, I decided just to make this a short stream today, and it's just probably gonna last for maybe just in half an hour. So it just that's it, pretty much enough time I have left of this month though. So, and I might not even show up in any of my friends' streams like Game Guys, Cody Darkhawk, or even Malachites. It's not because I just having this cold drain my energy. It's so badly. And honestly though, my throat hurts a little bit itself. So I won't doing any audio stories for at least a while now, and for at least about a week. I might just go back to doing my regular stories as soon as possible. And I get a little bit when I'm feeling a little bit better. So until then, it's just that. And I have a slight update of for the next year. Um, After my current development of Dark Noah's Revenge is finished and uploaded, I actually have a new series in mind that I actually was going to make the year 2024, 2024. All I can say is it's called Followers of Grugar, as involve a group of ponies that involves themselves dedicated to bring back Grugar as the true ruler of the Questia. That's all I can say for that next new art series will be out next year. But how many chapters will be in that series, I can't tell right now. It's I really haven't thought of much about it yet. So and yeah, the reason I did that, it just I I didn't thought about it, and you know, tired, cold. So basically, it feels like I'm dying, even though I'm not dying itself. But yeah, I can put the link in in the Discord. Hang on. It just feels fucking tastic. Heavily, this terrible damn cold. It just screwed my mind up really much so badly. And game guy, this stream won't be last that long though, for about maybe half an hour. So it's just that much time I have left. It's yeah. And Cody Lane is in the comments as well. Unusual. Yeah, I usually do my streams another 2 hours from now, usually though, but uh I decided to do it a bit early since it's like, what the heck? Why not? I'm tired, bored, and I am just don't have enough energy to do anything else. Just rather than screw my life. Uh yep. And I can actually blame my sister for this cold. You know why I wonder? Well, her kids actually had this cold themselves for the past few days, the past week or so. So that's it, just peachy. So yeah, that's just freaking fantastic. Though I'd rather have a cold than a flu itself. well, well, this complete knucklehead.
Not really. To be fair, I'm pretty tired and bored and whatever too.
Yeah, I know. This terrible cold really is killing me. Even last night when I went to bed, I just like Despite how many covers I had, I was like so freaking cold. And even if I just moved a slightly, like move my arms or my legs or something, it started freezing. I like the same feeling. It's like, as long as I just stayed motionless, it's perfect. But then in the early morning, around 6:30 or so, I felt like so opposite. I felt like so overheated. So I just took like the quilt on the bed itself instead, and that was pretty much it. And well, what's up, Cody? Yeah, it's and especially though that my dad might have to. At least my mom had told me that that my dad may not. Without my mom wasn't happy when I found out my sister had been cold so much lately, and now when I'm cold, and since he is going to have do some surgery for his back, exactly how complicated that is, and I have no idea. I hadn't even asked. Last time he did a surgery for his back was see now, let's go see, almost 20 years ago. It did help a little bit, but now it just I really don't like this cold, honestly. I don't have much energy and much, and I just been watching YouTube for most of the day. Even though I woke up around 2 morning, 2 after in the afternoon, that's it. I've just been watching all some Jeff Dunham videos and other manga short ones on that fan made stories on YouTube. And even though I tried to go back to sleep early this morning after I just woke up, but nope, it didn't work. I turned and turned and turned, but it didn't work. I was like, I don't have any appetite for eating anything at all, but I had to do something though. Yeah, Cody, it's okay though. I just have it is freaking cold. I haven't even checked if I have any fever, but it feels like it. Feels like I've been hit by a train over and over 10 times. That bad.
Wish we could do something about that, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, but the only times I actually do get a cold is just around this time of the year or winter. But despite I actually prefer winter the most of the year, other than summer and all that. I don't mean I don't mind summer. It just as long as it doesn't get too hot, you know. Especially it's hot in the day and night, the same temperature that you can barely get any sleep. I remember one year, it wasn't even that long ago. It was just only a few years ago. Around, I think it was 2018. It was the most extremely hot summer. The temperature was around, I think, mid 80s to 90s degrees, day and night. And I was like, freaking hell, nightmare. I mean, that summer, it started really early, around late May, early June. Temperature didn't start kick in around mid June and last until like mid August, and it was almost. And guess how many times it rained on that time frame between between June and August? Almost nothing at all. And if it rain, it usually only lasts for less than a minute or two, and it was like quick rain and it was over. And that year alone, we had over 200 forest fires in the country, and a large number of them was actually people set on fire on like arsenic on purpose. I was like, screw that. But then Like last year, we had another heat wave that's going to last, but that didn't last that long. Oh goodness, thing for that, like maybe 2 3 weeks, but that's it. Though I cannot imagine that living in those extremely hot areas in the world, like say Sahara Desert, Atacama Desert in South America, or Death Valley in the US, which is one of the hottest places in that just in your country alone. Even though despite that US in Death Valley has had one mystery that was unsolved for decades. The walking stones. Well, they didn't like literally walked, but people had seen those strange pattern behind the rocks. They were like the small boulders, like football size or like a melon sized rock on the ground in a melted dry desert, like if someone had been pushing and had been leaving a trail behind. Many people wonder what exactly was behind it. Well, that secret actually been solved, and it turned out it was frost under beneath. That during the night it was cold, and it was when it frost and the early morning that melted and it moved the rock only slightly, maybe just 1 inch each time. So imagine for if it had to move 10 feet or even like a mile, well, who knows? It's a mystery though, but it has been solved. You know, have you ever heard of um, Alvin sea serpent?
Nope.
Well, I do tell you that was years ago, around what can it be? See here, it was about almost 60 years ago. This submarine named Alvin, but two men was down in it. Fortunately, both have passed away by now. They were on the depth of 5,000 feet. They just exploring the sea bottom, and they saw this sea serpent. But after well, they came up back to the surface. Of course, they didn't have any recording cameras with them. This was back in 1965. So they, after one of the men actually was approached by a scientist or something, he, after describing this creature, he presented a photo or this, like a picture book from dinosaurs, and he showed a picture of a plesiosaur, and it matched. And of course, how's that even possible? Well, who knows? I mean, if you go back and around the world, there are always some places in the world that's supposed to be living dinosaurs. Like Papua New Guinea has Robin, uh, a pterodactyl type of flying dinosaur, which somehow reason have developed this bioluminescence, like it's glowing in the night. And back in early 2000s, I think it was 2009, a grandfather and his grandson actually saw something in Georgia. And what they saw was a raptor, like it's those raptors from Jurassic Park. They were out from the hunting, and I was like, really? And then claimed they actually was a person actually claimed that actually recording a raptor in Florida on a ring belt camera. And another thing is that one supposed dinosaur cryptid to exist is Kasai Rex in Africa. But slight problem. They had never found any fossil remains of a theropod, which they are called, in Africa. Only been found in North America, part of Asia, and part of Europe, but not in Africa. And even though this might surprise most people, dinosaurs actually did even live in Antarctica, and people like, how can dinosaurs be living in Antarctica if it's frozen wasteland? It has not always been like that. It used to be a rainforest, like Amazon. I mean, back then the temperature was way different, and they actually found dinosaurs even in my country. Some footprints and even remains of three type of dinosaurs, and I was like, really, that was impressive. Man, I really hate this cold. So yeah, I haven't been able to do much today except watch YouTube and sleep. That's it. And yeah. Well, except that I came up with a new idea for a new audio series until next year called Followers of Grogar, where a pony group actually has dedicated themselves for centuries to bring back Grogar as a true ruler of the kingdom, and they have infiltrated various sorts of positions throughout society, like you know, police officers, lawyers, teachers, and all that. I haven't even started that one, but it's just an idea so far. So, you've been up to
Not much.
same here. Just I didn't feel much to do anything today. The funny thing is, even though my brother came over yesterday to celebrate my birthday, even though it was late, um, maybe past around an hour after he left, I started feeling a bit sick. I mean, I started feeling as the cold started. My brother recently also had a cold, but my mom doesn't believe it's just from him since my sister recently had a cold. So yeah, so my it's just that. Well, apparently Broner Dreamer's here. And I also been watching some of the performance of Darcy Lynn from America's Got Talent. It's impressive how to see that happens. I mean, as she said, ventriloquist is not common these days. Stop, Ronip. Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm not feeling so well today. Ugh, just sick for the cold. Screw my life. But what can you do? You can get a cold even in summer, but it's not that. I don't think it is that common compared to during the autumn and the winter. So, Cody, you what have you been up to? Work? Uh, yeah. Chapter 6 of Emerald P. Make Your Mark is just around the corner. Is actually about 3 weeks from now, and it's just you know a lot of speculations of what's gonna happen in it.
Actually, I kind of wanted to
Uh,
talk about that real quick. I had this thing like a few nights ago, or whatever, and I was like, I don't know, I forget what I was doing, but I think I was watching G G5, and I said, "Hey, what if Opaline was like one of Twilight's students or something like that?" I mean, it's like because like she's an alicorn. in alicorns, at least in G4, don't just show up. They have to be born into it, or they have to earn it. So who
True.
knows? Maybe it is. I mean, it could have been.
Uh, Actually, no. That was assumed for a while that she was one of Twilight's students, and that she used to be an alicorn, a unicorn at School of Gift Unicorns like herself, and that Luster Dawn, which were her apprentice in or best student at the season G4. Well, unfortunately, it's not the case anymore. She was Opaline has always been an alicorn, and she was actually she is the same age as Celestia Luna because she grew up with them. They grew up in a place called Skyros, and it's and that was but well, it's based on that scene where Opaline made herself a statement of her backstory. Like the ponies around them looked up to both Celestia Luna, but it's like they both of the sisters ignored her because she was an element alicorn. She was a fire alicorn. And here's another thing I also learned about the dragons in G5. It's turned out that dragons eventually cut all contacts with Ponykind for a good reason. After that, Opaline showed up because she is the one that caused the all the system, the whole society to be divided once again. She showed up using Ponyville, started to acting that unicorns are more powerful than they are higher status than Earth ponies and all that. And even though that Twilight and her friends managed to defeat Opaline, but the damage was really too great. Eventually, as the society divided, and as we all know, unicorns by themselves, earth ponies themselves, and so on. And the dragons, around the time, they were afraid that Opaline were as the fire elemental alicorn. She was actually trying to steal their magic fire, so they decided to simply sever all contact with the pony kind, despite they were friends with the ponies. They didn't want to jeopardize their own safety. But after that happened, after the magic was just gone, all of the dragons went to hibernation. And they were in this hibernation sleep for, well, at least I would say around between 200 or 300 years. Even though they don't know exactly precise, but given a few hints that, as Sunny did say that no pony has seen a dragon for generations, and that as Queen Haven said, um, that the throne room that she has in Separate Heights has even looked like that on the because she found this Sunny found this blanket, and part of it showed Separate Heights throne room. And Queen Haven mentioned that the throne room has even looked like that in centuries. So even those hints and that the and that the blanket had been in Sunny's family for 10 generations, and 10 generations in human world is roughly 350 years. So, assuming it had been around 2 to 300 years, so and that's also a reason that the dragons they were completely gone. And back in G4, Dragonlands was completely barren. They were just a complete desert wasteland. Only the dragons were strong enough to live there. But during this particular time, when the dragons were in hibernation, the whole Dragonlands had changed from a complete wasteland, a beautiful rainforest. And in the series of Tale Your Tale on YouTube, um, they actually introduced three dragons, and they even had their own version of Night by Night. And one of those dragons actually made official appearance in the series before that particular episode was even released. And I don't know if you guys remember when Starlight took the cue marks from different opponents, leaving this equal mark on their flanks. But
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, Opaline, she learned a way to do that, the same thing. But here's this little bit different. Is that instead for two cue marks, they only have one for some odd reason. Um, and she had taken two cue marks from two different opponents so far as I know. One, Posey Bloom, an Earth Poly from Maritime Bay, and the second is Onyx, which is from Bridlewood. She is one of those like a gothic um, poets, and she took those cutie marks and put them on the tree in her home, on those leaves. And it turned out that an older unicorn named Elder Flower actually mentioned this to Sunny and Issy. Sip, I mean, that the trees um, in the tree that grow in Mirtan Bay near the old factory, and the one that Misty Grove in Zephyr Heights, and the one in Brotherwood are connected, despite being so far away from each other from a distance. But their roots are connected, and they're called together trees. And they are responsible for creating this type of shield or barrier to prevent um, Opaline for even to get inside in Equestria. And turn out the another together tree. That tree is actually in which is connected to Opaline's own castle. And during the night, um, ponies in Maritime Bay discovered the pumpkins they put near the tree at in Ponyville, Maritime Bay, just poof, poof, vanished without a trace. And those pumpkins actually, for some reason, end up in Opaline's castle. And she placed them back near her tree inside the castle. And they reappeared back in Maritime Bay. And she discovered a way to enter Maritime Bay through that tree. It's it was really unexpected, to be honest. I didn't really expect that. So I mean, assuming at least that, and the dragons that appeared in G5 now are based on European dragons, the wings and all that, except some of them actually have hair, which none of the dragons in G4 had at all. But some of them actually even had bracelets. One actually had a bracelet had the hoof print. And this is actually shown as a screenshot that Dr. Wolf shown in his video about it. And assuming that maybe Issy made these bracelets for the dragons as a sign of friendship, unless the dragons made themselves about it. As Dr. Wolf made a statement that some of the dragons actually even shown some dragon pony features, like face, all that. And could that indicate that some of the dragons are actually not full blood dragons? They could either be a 50-50 pony dragon, or Some of them actually could have a pony ancestors. And one particular dragon that I did see, and I'm not joking, it looked like Spike, but older. And as in the G5, um, chapter 5, there was this one scene where you can see one dragon stepping on the ground, which has purple scales. When that hit, it went viral. People assumed that could be Spike. And even though that Cody Lane may just like, that is Spike. But I had to break the news to him. Even though that it looked like the color of Spike's scales, it not necessarily it's Spike. Because it could have been any of the dragons. Even though it's yeah, so in the even though this dragon that looked like him that appeared in G5, that's gonna be in G6, chapter 6, it's difficult to tell. We don't even know if that's actually Spike at all. There's already been that event viral and is within the community has always been a lot of discussion and debating. Is that Spike? Is that one of him? Is that him? Or is that one of his kids? Or is that one of his descendants or something? It's possible it could actually be Spike the whole time. I mean, it seems that magic disappeared around the time of during Twilight's rule. It's also a possibility that when that magic is completely gone, all the dragons went in hibernation, all of them. So it's possible the Spike could simply just dream like them. After he got to maybe that Spike had been on Dragonlands at a time and he fell asleep. And if those dragons that did show in G5 or Chapter 5, and of course in the Tell Your Tale, it's a possibility that's either two things. Those dragons are the current descendants of dragons that have been asleep for a while, or those dragons had been asleep for centuries without aging. It's possible if Spike is the dragon we're seeing in G5, and if that's actually him, and that people like, how is it possible that that could be Spike if it has been centuries since the dragons just vanished? Well, like I said, it's possible that simply they could have just, if they went to sleep, they somehow, it's like their biological functions ceased, and it's possible. But even though many like myself and Cody Lane are really hopeful this could be Spike or maybe one of his kids or maybe one of his future descendants. But we all had to face the possibility this might just not even be in Spike or that this particular dragon has no relations to Spike whatsoever. That he simply is just Luke Spike. And even if that's true, even if it is Spike or one of his long distant descendants or even one of his long lived kids. So the question is, who would be the mother? Some people like, well, is it complete obvious? Hello, Rarity. Well, not necessarily. It could either be Ember or any other female dragons. And in fact, even though there are a lot of fan-made stories, oh yeah, or even Smolder, since Spike and Garble actually became good friends at one point, but there is a possibility we don't even know if ponies and dragons can even have any kids together. I mean, dragons are reptiles, ponies are mammals. They're complete different species. And even though this is Spike, there are a lot of fan-made designs of Spike and Rarity, Spike with Pinky, Fluttershy, you name it, have kids. But those are fan-made, and those cannot be confirmed to be real. So if this particular dragon that looks like Spike is him, or that somehow he's related to him or not, we don't know. But I do for certainly know this: we will know more about. Then there will be more. It will be more release trailers of Chapter 6 within the next few weeks. And I do know for damn reason, for one thing, Opaline will definitely be defeated either in those 3 episodes or in this special movie, which is the name of Secret of Starlight. And if that has a reference to Starlight Glimmer, no idea. It could have been her, or it could be something else. But Cody, what is your opinion? Do you think it is had something to do with Starlight Glimmer in the Sacred Starlight? Well, it's possible, and I really doubt it has anything to do with her directly herself. I mean, she is long dead, unless that she had did something like that Twilight did, made this recording of like a magical hologram, like a message. Who knows? I really don't know exactly with any of that myself, though. I mean, when I first heard it's gonna be a movie called, even though I did knew it's gonna be a feature movie at one point after Chapter 6, I was like, okay, this was gonna be a Christmas version. Well, I do believe it's gonna be some form of Christmas special. I mean, like the Hands of the Last Year, which they did release, the one that they celebrated Christmas or their holiday in Saffron Heights, Bridalwood, and Maritime Bay. So, and that feature movie was released in also in November last year. So, assuming this is going to be some form of early Christmas movie or something, but it's hard to tell. But I do know for certain like, that there will be some more information about this episode later on. And I'm even curious, like, how did the dragons even reacted when when they saw ponies in their homeland for the first time in years? I mean, considering like back then, the dragons decided just choose to have no contact with the pony kind after what Opaline tried to do. And I understand that completely for them. Her plans was not only to take every single dragon's magical fire, but also every pony's cutie mark to get more powerful. She wouldn't even allow United Society again. So it's I mean it's possible though, but still. But it's one thing I really hope that's gonna happen in those 3 last episodes, maybe in the future movie, is that Queen Haven and Apple getting married. After all, we later find out that Misty is actually Opaline's long lost daughter. I was like, damn, really? I was not expecting that. Even though we know that she was found by Opaline when she's just a filly. But there were a lot of speculations, maybe that she was run away from her parents or something, but it's hard to tell. But now at least we know that part. Man, I hate this cold. But um, yeah. Even though that Cody, even though that's possible, but even though not now that's G5 is gonna end at Make Your Mark, but they will still be Telltale on with a web series. Uh, it's still question about that if it's gonna be just 5 minutes episodes, since the most of them already is just that. If it's gonna be any longer, who knows? I just really have no idea. I mean, I know that Game Guy hasn't watched much of the G5 recently himself. Have you?
Hmm. Yeah, not really.
And even though that the only this difference is when Sparky was hatched, there has never been any form of abuse of him by anyone. Another thing is different about him and Spike as a baby dragon. When Spike was hatched, no wings. When Spike was hatched, he had wings. Spike had his when he went through this mold effect, like puberty. So who knows? I do wonder if it's gonna be any shippings of the main five or now the new main six or no. Who knows? I even wondered what is Sparky's connection to those trees. I believe it was back in chapter 3 or 4 when he touched the newly grown tree in Maritime Bay and it somehow started glowing and his horns started glowing themselves. So like some form of connection. And first of all, like since it is now we know it's possible that well, it is confirmed at least once in a one way, Sparky came from Dragonlance. His egg must have been drifted in the ocean until he ended up on near Mirta Bay. And I do wonder there is one thing. How is it even possible for this egg to hatch? As we all know, eggs need to be warm in order to hatch. It's common sense. But knowing that if Sparky was laid as an egg around it, maybe Sparky's egg was put down around the ground around the time when the magic vanished, and maybe that affected his egg as well. And at one point, maybe something pushed his egg out of his home and ended up in the ocean. And I wouldn't be surprised if that dragon that looked like Spike in G5 could be Sparky's parents or something, or maybe has some connection to that. I mean, both are purple and slight green. I mean, it's possibility in that, but I can't be confirmed or not. It's possible. Even like the Argyle, Sonny's father, when he passed away, they never actually mentioned how he passed away or exactly when, or her mother is. It's hard to tell. Freezing over here. Assuming your brother is at the gym and the library.
Yep. That's pretty much how it is.
Yeah, completely understandable. Well, I mean, end the stream soon enough, and then I may just pass the time limit. I'm not so sure.
Hmm. I don't know.
Well, I'm not leaving yet though, Cody. It's just soon enough. And that Hitch getting abused, um, not what I was aware of. Even though I've seen the show many times, and I didn't even see any signs of abuse or anything. Even though there's one episode in the last chapter 5, um, Sparky, he coughed up a small fire and it changed Hitch, mane, and tail, which was kind of a bit funny though. I mean, Sparky and Sparky's. I mean, his last name Sparkaroni. That's a different last name. I mean, Spike even had any. Is that his name for a reference to like pasta or something? That would have been weird. Huh. Picking up leaves yesterday with your dad. Okay. We haven't done that in a while now. We don't do that when it's raining or all. There's been a lot of rain recently. Man, I'm getting more tired. Well, I might just grab a hot shower afterwards and grab some dinner and watch some TV. And since I don't have much energy to do anything at all, just it's just fantastic to be sick. Am I right?
Not this time, buddy. Uh,
uh, so, how did your last stream go?
Going good. I mean, you can probably tell I didn't lose my voice this time. Probably because
Yeah,
there
I can
wasn't
tell.
nearly as much dialogue this time. So,
What kind of game was that?
what Super Mario? It's a weird combination of an RPG and platforming.
Hmm.
It just kind of is what it is. It doesn't really care what it is. It's just a bizarre game.
Yeah, and have to see that Mario and the others turn into elephants like that is truly bizarre. What's next? Giraffe, platypus, or what if they actually turn into like a Bowser version? Well, that'd be cool.
Super Mario Odyssey was calling. It says I did that.
Mm. What if?
Kind of. They don't actually turn into Bowser. Mario possesses him with a ghost hat. Don't worry about it. This game's almost as weird as the Super is.
Yeah, understandable. As the last movie they made, Super Mario Bros., which I haven't seen yet, I did read there were potentially of a sequel and a spin-off based on Luigi's Mansion. That depends when that movie is gonna be released. And same thing for Pokemon Detective Pikachu, for example. That was released in 2019 and it was already in the development of a sequel, but only a few months later, the movie was totally scrapped, and the script it was thrown out. And now the sequel is back again, but new whole different script, all that. So wonder who that's gonna be like, and especially with the other sequels and other good movies that were made, like Zootopia. Sequel of that is currently in the development. Even though there were some talks of Zootopia 2 and 3, and you guys knew that there were a TV show based on Zootopia, right?
I think that might just be on Disney Plus. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, and turnout Flash, the slot, actually proposed to one of the female slots, the same one that actually appeared in the first movie when he told a joke to one of his colleagues. The same one. And in that TV series, it's only I think it was 8 or 12 episodes, but none of them had nothing that involves Judy or Nick at all. It only involves some of the background characters like uh, Mr. Pig's daughter when she's getting married, and Flash the Slot when he is proposing, and what else? Right, the Weasel that was supposed to be selling movies for that type of things, and I believe it was even one of the dancers of the Tiger Dancers. I haven't seen any of those, but then another sequel was in the development of for Disney was Frozen and Free. Yep, that is apparently true. Huh. Wonder what's gonna happen in that one. Toy Story 5 officially confirmed as in development as well. Two things also confirmed about that movie: Buzz and Woody are back, same voice actors, but there is no official release date on those movies yet. And same thing as for the live action version of Mulan, also have a sequel apparently. But there was only one thing about that movie. She had a younger sister. Okay, I mean I don't think that's a bad idea that they bring out that she has a sister because I did see one version of Mulan years ago where she had a younger brother. So I don't think no, it's a bad idea for bringing a sister or brother to Mulan because back then a lot of families in ancient China did have a lot of families. But I'm really disappointed that they didn't even brought back Mushu, the dragon. I mean, he's the main center of the comedy. Without him, the movie isn't the same. And as for Hunchback Notre Dame, which is also going to be released, well, not sure yet, with the next 2, 3 years maybe. It's all I know is that that movie is going to be uh, based on the original Disney movie and original story, which were the book was made in wow, what was it? Sometimes in the 1800s. So it's gonna be like a mix. Who knows what that's gonna be like? And Lion King Mustafa, sequel slash prequel, and how that's even a possibility. I mean, how does even that work out? Like a movie that's gonna be a sequel but also a prequel. I was like, how that's how that can that make any sense? I have no idea.
The Lion King 0.5.
The last movie of the Lion King, what was it? What is it? 3.5. It's
One and a half.
yeah, the one where you're seeing how Pumbaa and Timon actually running into each other first time. It was, it wasn't. I would say it was decent, good enough. I mean, there was some good moments, but it was a little different than I expected. I mean, I remember Timon and Pumbaa, Disney's TV show. Oh boy, that was a good one. Have you seen the movie Recess or the show?
Hmm.
Well, have you?
But
Have you heard of the series and the movie called The Recess?
yeah, I've heard of it.
That show was actually not bad, and the movie, it was hilarious. Strong wind over there for Cody, but here it is, well, rain, rain, rain. That's it. Man, I really hate this cold right now. Even though there are a lot of movies, a lot of movies that's coming out with the next few years, like Moana, which I haven't seen, is gonna be a live action movie back in 2025. I mean, I definitely can see this. Uh, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is gonna be maybe other appeared in that movie as himself, or maybe voice acting. Who knows? I mean, it is only not that long ago that that movie came out originally. It was back in 2016, and I was like, okay. But some of the movies that, even though, like, say, Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, which is the final Star Wars saga within that, and there were some news confirmed that Rey will make a reappearance in another movie where she is a Jedi Master of her own Jedi school, and it is taking place around the year 50 ABY. And I can tell you now when that movie is having this official release date is 2026. So that movie is going to release that day, but there hasn't any official name yet. Or and honestly though, I have no idea if that's going to be as a reference of Star Wars Episode 10 or a complete separate movie. Who knows? It's just Star Wars itself has for the past few years now since episode uh episode 7 to 9 really, well, had a lot different special effects since episode 1 and 4 and 3 and 5 and 6. But the only thing is difference. Episode 7 is a very almost identical as episode 4. I mean, episode 4, the first Death Star. Episode 7, A Force Awakens, Starkiller Base. And it's basically the same thing, except the difference that Death Star was a battle station. Starkiller Base was an actual planet. And there were some theories of which planet that were originally. Well, now it is confirmed. That planet is Ilum. It used to be a sacred Jedi planet where they always sent the younglings together, or at least to find their kyber crystals. And as I don't know if Cody has seen the Star Wars Ahsoka Tano series. Have you? Or even Rebels? Um, well, in the Star Wars Rebels, one of the characters, Kanan Jarrus, had a son with Hera Syndulla. Hera is she is a belong to a race called Twi'lek, and Kanan himself is a human. And there were speculations like, is their son gonna be force sensitive, since the father was a Jedi Knight? Well, it is later confirmed in Ahsoka Tano, the last episode, he is. And that the Commander Thrawn, which is actually not his full name, but trust me, his full name is a little bit a little bit hard to pronounce. So Thrawn is his core name, and the core name is a hence to the inner core of the galaxy. Inner core, outer core, colonies, and others. So, so they simply call them Thrawn. And in the last episode, Ezra turned out to be alive, and Sabine Wren, she was a Mandalorian from Mandalore. Uh, she was an apprentice of Ahsoka, even though that her possibility of being force sensitive was very slim to none. Apparently, she isn't. She has a strong connection to the force, and she had a family, a mother, a father, and an old younger brother. But her whole family, along with thousands of others, were completely massacred on Mandalore by the Empire. They bombarded the planet from orbit and turned the whole planet to glass, literally. Same thing happened to Tatooine. Tatooine used to be very much like Earth, green oceans, blue oceans, green land. But the planet was turning to glass, the same thing. But over time, the glass erosion turned into sand, and the native species on the planet actually were one intelligent advanced species. But after that particular event, they evolved to two separate species. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys may have heard of those, but Tusken Raiders or even Jawas. Either people like how can the Jawas and Tusken Raiders be the same? They belong to the same species. They're completely different. I mean, Javas are like a rodent like species, while the Tusken Raiders are more like humanoid. Well, I mean, this is possibility evolution, and that's from a large planet to a distant world. That effect have you, and in fact, um, even Obi-Wan, he spent over 20, almost more than almost 20 years on Tatooine, and that time affected his appearance. It that harsh environment aged him much faster in his appearance. It's actually possible. But personally, I think episodes 7 and 9 and 8 are not canon at all. I mean, back in Expanded Universe, Luke and Leia had their own families. Luke had a son which they named after his old mentor, Ben, and he has future descendants. One left his family from to be a Jedi to be a bounty hunter. And Leia, well, that's a little bit different. She has twins, boy and girl, and a younger son. Younger son Anakin died during the One Galactic War. Uh, the older twin brother Jason, well, he was killed by his own twin sister. After all, he would turn into dark side. And Jaina, which is the twin sister, she married a man called Jagged, which later became the new emperor of a new galactic empire. And though not the same type of empire as the original one, um, and well, Anakin was around 15 or 16 when he died, so he had no kids of his own. James, on the other hand, did. He actually married another fellow Jedi Knight. Her name was Tanaka Shu. Um, she was the daughter of the queen, or they called Mother Queen, of a planet called Huspis. Um, that planet were in its type of nebula, and they had closed their borders for centuries, like I think 3 to 5,000 years, so no one actually had even entered that space. But they had a daughter, which they named Alana, and she was born sensitive. In the last of Hans and Leia, well, at least in the Star Wars universe, expanded universe, before that whole thing went complete non-canon, they were sent off to this planet to take care of a revolt, to bargain peace. Well, Han was around, I think, 72 or 73 years old. So that's just one of the things. And okay, Game Guy, have you seen any of the Indiana Jones movies by any chance?
Only a few.
Well, the last one as the Dial of Destiny. Um, that movie it's taking place around 1969, shortly after Apollo 11, and this device that's supposed to be in some form of time traveling device. Um, this is actually based on a real invention that was found in a shipwreck years ago. But this particular device is over 2,000 years old, and it was considered as the world's oldest handmade computer. Like not like those keyboards and all that, but it's more like you could predict the next solar eclipse, moon eclipse, all that kind of things. And in the movie, it was made by a famous Greek scientist and inventor, Archimedes. And there were some talks about making even another prequel series on Disney Plus about uh, Indiana Jones' his youth, which eventually was completely cancelled. And I mean, they did actually made one years ago. I think it was around in the 90s. And around the time when uh, Indiana Jones was born in the movie, I think it was uh, like, come on, no, dang it, come on, um, Indiana Jones born. Yeah, so he was in that movie when it happened in the last one that he made. Um, he was about, let's see, 70 years old. But in the last series that they made of him, he was pretty much alive in the late 90s. He was around 90 years old or so. I think 92 or 95. Lost one of his eyes. It's considering a log. In the last movie they actually made, I believe it was, I think it was the Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. When they made one, he had a son. Unfortunately, he died eventually uh, around 1969 during the Vietnam War. But but Jones actually have at least, I think, one more daughter, one more child, a daughter, and two grandkids and two great grandkids, and that's a long line. Unless uh unless compared to this particular American, this woman back in 2016 was considered the oldest person at the time, around the age of 116. And boy, I don't tell you, she has a huge family. Around the time of her 116th birthday, it was around 8 or 9 generations alive at the same time with her. She had 7 kids. Unfortunately, all of them dead. And I don't tell you though that Boy, she has 40 grandchildren, 75 great grandchildren, 150 great great grandchildren, 220 great 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 grandchildren, and 75 great 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 grandchildren. As a total of 562 living descendants directly for her. And that, I do tell you, is a big family. Imagine this, buying Christmas gift or Christmas gift every single one each year. That means 562 kids. Think about that. Well, like, well, I'm broke for whole next year. Yeah, so it's just that. Wow, past 1 hour already. Hmm. Well, approach should end here soon. So, you guys have any plans for the rest of the weekend?
Not really.
Assuming at least one thing that Cody's gonna do: watch a lot of TV and play games, which is. And Brony though, probably the same thing. Maybe watch YouTube or play games. And for your brothers, that's you know, nothing even to question. Really hate this cold. You want this cold again, guy?
Nope.
you, you will eventually have it. Dang it, the dog is barking in the background, even though I probably don't
Even though
hear
I
it.
already said no, and even though I don't really get sick that often.
Yeah. Almost 8 p.m. here. Well, at least what I'm going to do the rest of the evening is just take a shower, eat something, and watch some TV. And then talk to Fire Goddess. I didn't talk to her much yesterday since she was more at this comedian performance, like a stand up or something. Never been to one myself. But one of the best stand up comedians is definitely Jeff Dunham. I mean, who can even not even compare to even close to him? Well, unless Darcy Lynn, who makes us singing all that, but still, they are probably the top 10 of all the best ventriloquists out there in the world. And to be one is, well, a lot of practice, patience. If I start to try now, well, all I can say is I will completely suck at it. I mean, I will be a newbie. Okay, Brony's excuse is to grow his muscle. Well, Brony, just be careful when you're drinking such protein drinks like that, and just don't overdo it too much. It it can backfire you much later on in your future older age. I'm just saying that it's just not ever like this possible though. You know, um, since um, Brony lives near, since he lives in Indonesia and he lives quite close to uh, Papua New Guinea. Um, Brony, have you by any chance heard of a creature called Ropen? By any chance? Well, that is alleged pterodactyl creature supposed to be living in Papua New Guinea. Has been a lot of sightings. Wingspan of 20 feet. Komodo. Well, Komodo dragons are not a cryptid, but well, technically they were cryptids. One point. I mean, they were discovered back in 1912, I believe. And even though when they were found, people didn't believe such things could even exist. And I mean, same thing when a platypus, that at one point was even considered as a cryptid. I mean, can anyone blame them? I mean, this hearing the stories of an animal which has a duck beak, a beaver tail, and is it even a mammal and that lays eggs? There are not much any mammals that literally lay eggs. But eventually, platypus discovered to be real and not cryptid. And as most within most scientific world, a lot of cryptids like Bigfoot, Yeti, and all those doesn't exist. Though is actually a strong possibility some of those cryptids can actually exist. For I can actually give as an example. Since the Komodo dragons and the platypus were at one point considered as cryptids, and after they were found out to be real, so I mean, hold you on that part. It could still a lot of those other cryptids could actually be real, like Nessie. Many people have believed that they were Nessie has been this plesiosaur, like a dinosaur, for years, for almost 90 years or so. But recently, only about a few years ago, a scientist from a cooperation of international universities went to Loch Ness, took a lot of samples in the water, and they published their result the year after. And surprising enough, they found a lot of um, result of DNA samples, which is new type of technology is called e-environment DNA, which stands for environment DNA. You can actually trace DNA from an animal even if it has been days after they've been there. So they found no trace of catfish, otter, or seal. And the most shocking is since Nessie is supposed to be a reptile, they found zero reptile DNA in the old samples. But the most surprising that they actually found was the huge amount of DNA of eel. Well, eel do live in fact in that lake. So could Nessie simply just been an extra large eel? It's not impossible. Some eels had grown up to as 10 feet long. Well, some cryptid eels, which has been known as super eel or even as mega eel, supposed to be grown as 100 feet. Just imagine that. And who can even forget the one particular shark, the black demon, supposed to be 60 feet long, a weight of 100,000 pounds. Oh, as Malak had said that when he was in that stream, Sharktopus, Luska, supposed to be shark body, shark head, and octopus body. And honestly, though, game guy, do you honestly believe that type of creature can actually exist?
Mm, not really.
Yeah, I don't doubt it either. I mean, a creature that has a head of a shark in a body of octopus, like the tentacles, yeah, is very unlikely that's gonna be even exist. But having a giant version of shark, that's impossible. I mean, Black Demon has often been preferred to be as surviving member of Megalodon. So, if that species it somehow survived all these millions of years, boy, boy, do we have a lot of problems to be watching. And you probably know about the Bermuda Triangle. But did you know there are in fact a few triangles, including in the actual mainland of US. In which one area is called Bennington Triangle. And five people from 1945 to 1950 have vanished, but only one was found dead, and no one knows exactly what happened. One area, also called Triangle, it's supposed to be a lot of Thunderbirds sightings, Bigfoots, cults, UFOs, and all that. Even had a human-faced rock. Fortunately, it was damaged to the environment. But there is two other triangle: Nevada Triangle, Michigan Triangle. Hmm. Game Mass drink chocolate flavor. Uh, I don't think that's probably a bad idea. At least that have some flavor to it so that you could drink it. Otherwise, if there's no flavor to them, wow, it would be terrible. I mean, I saw this on one cartoon manga series from a channel called Etrachan Saw It. This guy was sick with a cold. He had around 100 degrees or something like that, and his girlfriend at the time actually came over to see him the next day after he was sick, and she cooked some food for him. She made him um like a big, like a big chocolate fondue ball or something. But when he tasted it, it was complete bitter. She ate it, no problem. And when he eats something that was supposed to be bitter, it tastes sour. And how that's even possible? Because before then, he had no problems with that type of reaction. It later turned out that he was described a type of medicine for this, and when he went to a different doctor, he was informed that there's a possibility that people can have some form of reaction to a certain medicine to change their taste buds. So sweet will be very bitter, bitter food will be sour, and sour food will be too sweet. Just imagine that. Like, if you really love to eat sweet things like chocolate or cookies, and ugh, ugh, I can eat this. Yeah, it's like that. So, you know, so it's a possible. It's like my dad is he kind of similar, but not exactly. Um, when he did had this one when he had COVID, every time when he eats something, if it's just a warm meal or even some sandwiches or like that, no matter what it is, his nose started to be dripping, like really. And before then, it's no problem. And his taste buds are not at the same. After he went to the surgery that he almost died back in 2017, well, after being cut off most of the blood in his system, it spawned a few things. And I was told that the same thing that happened to him, the main blood order that goes along the spine, can be inherited. So it can happen to anyone that in the family. And like I was like, what? And do we have to do some X-ray to be to or some test? Well, we can't do an X-ray. But the thing is, we weren't allowed to do that type of X-rays until we are in our 50s at earliest. I was like, what? Why have to be waiting till at least in their 50s? And it's like, okay. I mean, my dad has usually a strong pain tolerance, but he um, he could barely even move from the couch. This actually even happened the day after Valentine's Day that year. And shocking enough, normally if I hear someone ring on the doorbell or knock on the door, I immediately wakes up. Or if there's a loud voice or something. But that time, I didn't even happen. I just was fast asleep, which was rare for me. And sometimes I can actually wake up in the early morning of the sound of the doorbell. But since my window is just below the front door, so I can just open, look down, and most of the times when I actually look down, there were no one at the door, no package, no person. It's like, did I imagine it? But then I came to realize I didn't imagine it, but the sound was actually in my dreams. After hearing this sound so many times, it's just stuck in my memory, and it's even these days when I hear that sound. But recently, for the past few months or so, when I heard the sound of the doorbell, middle of the morning or something like that, I just didn't bother to even look at out the window. It's just like, well, another one of my dream doorbell dreams. Like, okay, back to sleep. You know, the funniest of or the last one we did was a Genshin stream. uh, Elf, like the mode of their planet, like, are you gonna
Mm,
finish this sandwich? I mean, I mean, as official motto of the planet Melmac, as "Are you gonna finish this sandwich?" And when I said the planet is egg shaped, and your brother Dylan's like, "Do they have egg sandwich there?" it was just, it was just really great. Hmm. You mean like chocolate milk? I haven't actually been having any chocolate milk in a while. Did you know there is even milk that you can actually store in the pantry, and and if you would stab, it would have been pouring out. It's would be powder, not liquid state. That is dry milk. All you have to do, add some water, and it's complete finished. So yeah, I never actually had any strawberry milk flavor or bananas like that. I know this there are exists, but never had it. But chocolate milk, yeah, it's something I prefer to drink, especially when it's cold. Then I just put it in the microwave and heat it for a while, and that's it. But it's a lot of sugar, so I don't need to think that drink it too much. There are, in fact, my dad later found this bottle was one type of drink that can be used as uh, being used as something that you can drink as lemonade. Come on, let's see what it was called. and this bear is a berry that has three different colors: white, red, and black. Red currant. Is that something you guys have heard before? Well, hmm. Rarely drink fruit flavored milk. Honestly, no, never even seen any fruit flavor. Do you guys, any of you guys drink iced tea by any chance?
Ugh.
What about you, game guy? Do you drink iced tea?
I don't like tea.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I
well,
actually
any
like tea.
description. I mean,
I like
that's
iced tea though.
tea. Like it's whatever. But I don't know.
I prefer iced tea with is a flavor of peach. And not a pun for Princess Peach at all. I mean, peach is more very sweet flavor. Of course, who cannot even judge the flavor of mango? Mango and peach are one of my favorite exotic fruits. There is actually one fruit as it's basically the same size as strawberries called lychee fruit. They are they have a little bit of rough scale surface, but the 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 fruit flesh on it is white, but the only difference is that it has a big core, like those like in avocado or otherwise it not too bad. But I even had those in over 10, 15 years. I know, but it was many years. Well, should probably end here now. So,
All right.
well, this has been a little bit of fun though, even despite I wasn't supposed to be doing a stream this week, but uh, I was like, screw it, I do it anyways. Even though there was only supposed to be in just 40 minutes or so, but I guarantee I passed the limit of free plan of StreamYard since at the time I was in a shake was only I had used 19 hours and 18 minutes, so that was around roughly maybe just 45 minutes. So I passed that, which way too much. So yeah. So this has been fun, everyone, and I hope everyone has a good weekend. And let's hope that you don't get a cold yourself. It's as my word, not great. Well, see you next time, Cody. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better soon. I know we don't like this. Well, this is Switch Nominal signing off. Bye.
Goodbye.